All right, it's the 21st of May, 2024, and this is Mesh PBL Live Coding from Gimbalabs Mesh and Friends. One thing that happened since we last met is that the course for Mesh PBL is now live. And there's a few ways that you can get there, but if you go just to the main Mesh website, meshjs.dev, click on Getting Started, and choose Mesh Project-Based Learning, you'll see that the course is live, and the first two modules went live last week on May 16th. So there's some prerequisites that you may be familiar with, and then some initial lessons about using the browser wallet. So we're really excited that this is live. Um, let's Yeah, and I'm not going to go actually too deep into this right now, but I wanted to show you that coming up in just a couple of days, we will officially release the next two lessons about mesh providers and resolvers. And these are what you can find over here in utilities, providers, and resolvers. Now, in addition to all of this, there's a Mesh PBL student library right here that's used throughout the course. This is the Git repo. I'll drop it in the chat. And there's a live deployment of this right here. And so you can see that there's some information about using providers. So right before we started recording, Chris, you were talking about how you've started to play around with some providers, but you had a few questions that you wanted to work through. This could be a really good place for us to start if you wanted to clone this repo and try to open it up locally. Then we could take a look at it together. How would that sound to you?
Yeah, it sounds good. I was taking a look at the files that I have, and I have a big mess actually because I tried to make it in different ways. So I used the Apollo client, which you use in the PPBL 2023,
Mhm.
and I also tried with I think was Koyos or Block Frost. I'm not sure
Yeah.
another file. So probably I maybe the best is just start from scratch and do it all again.
Cool.
So
And you know
confusing.
what? There's some better plumbing in this project right here. So we've been playing around with a few different ways of making queries. And one that I think is really good to learn is called React Query. And it kind of removes some of the boilerplate that we need to cover with Apollo. So that's built in. And then over here, if I look at source, no, pages, source pages, and then here's these lessons, providers. There's examples of how to get started quickly with Blockfrost, Koyos, and Maestro. The Koyos one, I was actually having a little trouble with, and I reached out to the Mesh team about that, but the Blockfrost and Maestro are ready to go. Would you have any interest in trying this on your end?
Yeah, it would be nice to try it, but like I said, I don't know if I have maybe I need to create a new file and do everything from the beginning. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
that's exactly what I'm suggesting here. I think that's a great idea.
okay, all right.
Yeah, so let's give that a try. And you can try to clone this repo. We'll get it running locally, and then we'll run through the steps of getting either Block Frost or Maestro working for you. How does that sound?
All right. So let me get the. You want to make it on my computer and share screen, or you gonna do it on your side?
Yeah, try it. I think you should try to clone this repo. Let's get it working.
All right. So let me create a file and go to the GitHub and just give me 1 minute, please.
Cool.
Okay, I think I'm ready.
All right, take it away, and we'll help you every step of the way.
Okay, let me see. Okay, you see my screen?
Perfect. Yep.
Okay, so scroll to not this. Let me move this bar because I'm not able to. Okay, so here I'm in the. Is this a repo? I think this is the wrong link.
Yeah, I dropped the link in the chat. Find the one I just gave you in the chat.
Huh? Give me 1 second, please. Okay, I got it. I'm not familiar sharing screen, so
All good
I
thing.
have some stuff in the middle. So give me 1 second, please.
Yeah.
All right. Chat. Uh, it's the student library, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one. So we can clone this locally and then we can try to use it.
Okay. So, okay. Oof. Uh, so where I should go? I'm cloning
Oh,
anything.
yeah, yeah. So copy the link that's in your browser bar. Yep. And bring that into VS Code. And then click on the link that says clone Git repository right there.
Uh,
Yep. And then paste the link.
okay. All right. So let's see what we have.
Perfect. All right. So now if you open up a terminal window, okay, and just do an ls for us to make sure that we're already in. Perfect. Now you can run npm install. Oh, yep. npm. Good. Now this is taking all the dependencies and getting those ready for us. Great. And then we can do npm run dev. And this way you'll be able to look at this project in your browser so you can navigate to localhost. Okay, great. And here we are. This is what's live on the web. Now, click on using providers right here. Now you can see how each one of these examples says an API key or a token is required in order to use any of these examples. And so which one do you want to play with? You want to learn how to use Block Frost or Maestro today?
I don't know. You tell me.
They're really very much equivalent. You don't have any preference?
No?
Let's do Block Frost because it's the first one then. All right, so the button doesn't work. The lesson is not yet published because the lesson is what we're doing live right now. I'm going to show you how to do this. So now let's go back into the code base in VS Code. And let's find the component we were just looking at. It's in the pages directory. And then we're looking at 1021 utilities providers and open up the block frost example. Okay. Now there's just a little bit of simple JavaScript logic right here, right? You see line 9, it says block frost API key, but there's not one provided. Scroll down below and you'll see, go a little farther, a little farther. You'll see that this button is disabled. So, and actually press Alt Z for us. This just wraps the text so it's not bleeding off
What
the
should I
screen.
do?
Press Alt Z.
Okay.
That work? Yeah, there we go. Now we can see all the text. Okay, so it says, right, that that gray box we were seeing is showing up because of lines 35 through 40. If you don't have a Block Frost API key, if the length is 0, then we put up a message that says this key is required. So let's go get one for you. If you can navigate to Block Frost and sign in, we can take a look at this.
I don't have an account.
That's okay, we can make one.
I think it's this one, right?
That's the one. Yep.
Okay. All right. So that was so to create.
Yeah, if you click the dashboard button or the start building button, it'll prompt you to log in. And then if you want to stop sharing for just a second while you log in, you can do that. I find it's easy to do with just a Google account, but either way works. Jingles, what's up?
Hey everyone. Hey James.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
How's everything for you?
Great. Yeah. How's live coding?
Good, good. We haven't done too much to publicize it yet, so we've got the crew here, but this is great. Chris has had a few questions about using a provider to render NFTs in a web app, and we've had those on the backlog for a little while. So we're spending a little time with the brand new examples, and now we have a chance to get those examples working. And this is a preview. We can make shorter versions of this lesson afterwards, but I think it's good to have a chance to live troubleshoot it.
Okay, I am already in the. So I think I don't know. I didn't create an account, but I'm already in the inside. The thing is, my email address is in the display, so I would like to.
Great. Okay. So yeah, before
Don't
you
share
share,
my.
absolutely, absolutely. Before you share screen again, just take a minute to copy your, what's it called in Block Frost? Is it called an API key? Shoot.
So
Uh, it's called blanking. But we have the code right here.
so the first thing that I have to do is add a project, correct?
Yeah, you got to, okay. If you don't have a new right, exactly. You need a project first. And then it's called it's called an API key. You need to set up that project.
Make it in pre-prod.
Yep, that's perfect.
Okay. So save the project, and now have a project ID and the name. And I have like 3 API examples here.
Yeah, copy the project ID to your clipboard and we'll pull that in um, to this project.
Okay. I copy already. So you want me to share screen once again?
Yeah, now that you have that API key, we're ready to go.
So we're gonna be using so I'm gonna share only the VS Code. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Okay. Let's see, did you see it?
Cool. Yeah, we're in the right spot. So now, did you, if you pasted the API key at the top of the page, okay, yeah, you want to paste your API key onto line 9 right here. All right. Now, this, of course, is sensitive information. If somebody else had this key, they could use your free block frost credits. So at the end of this session, I'll show you how to change it so that this one is no longer valid. Okay.
Okay.
But for now, this should be enough to get started. There's just one more thing we need. On line 15, it's asking for an address. Find just any wallet address you want, okay? But it has to be a pre-prod address and paste it there on line 15.
Okay. I don't know what. Let me stop sharing for a second.
Yep, take your time.
Okay. I'm back here. So the address. Okay.
Nice. Okay, so now if you save this file and you go back to localhost in your browser, we should see that this example works.
Okay. I don't know if you see this screen.
We don't yet. Yeah, if you can change screen share so that we can see the browser just with localhost. And what I
Okay.
usually do is I pull that tab out and you can minimize your other tabs, right? Just to maintain some privacy there.
What is
And
it? I'm sorry.
do you know how to like pull one tab out of your web browser so it stands on its own?
I don't understand what it means. I'm sorry. I'm not
Never mind.
familiar with
It's
screens.
okay.
So
It's
it's
okay.
kind of so I can share the one that I'm back here in the local host.
Perfect. That's exactly where we want to be. And now go to using providers once again. Good. And you see how the
Oh,
block first example, that button's now enabled. Good.
yeah. So I click on that, right?
Correct.
Mhm.
All right. So we're a bunch of raw data, right? This is obviously not an application, right? But it's useful.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Now, what we
yeah,
what we really want, however, you want some NFT data, don't you?
Yes, some tokens.
We're not going to see that in this example right here, but at least you can see the example is working. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So next step is let's go to the mesh documentation.
Mm. See. What you say in the mesh website?
Yep, exactly. And go to utilities at the top of the page,
Oh, here.
providers, block frost. All right, now are there any queries here that you could see on the left-hand side that you think might help us if our goal is to look at NFTs on the page?
Uh, Asset address, maybe.
Let's take a look. Okay. Now there's something really cool going on here. Okay. If you look at the source code, if you switch back to VS Code for us,
What should I look for?
we want to look at VS Code together again. Now we want to look at the code. Are you able to open up VS Code again and share
Oh,
screen?
you don't. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot that. I don't know. For some reason, you should see it, but do you see it now?
Yep, got it.
Okay.
So one of the lines here is line 22 is what we want to look at.
Mhm.
Line 22. You see how it says blockfrost provider dot fetch address UTXOs. Okay, so this function is what you can see in your web browser. Okay, it's just one example provided in the mesh documentation there. And we can change it to a different function that serves a different purpose. So right now we're running fetch address UTXOs, but you want to see NFT metadata. So we can pick a different function right here, and you're just going to replace fetch address UTXOs. So let's just delete that, and delete the parentheses with the word address inside.
I changed it for this one. I don't know if it's the right one.
Oh, great. Yeah, just experiment. That's exactly what I want you to do here. Let's just play and see what we can figure out. That's perfect.
Okay.
Okay. Now, if you save that and go back to your local host on the screen, what do you see?
Mm.
And we can't see your screen right now, unfortunately.
No? All right. Let me. Oh, okay. Okay. Now I have this.
Good. And you see, look at the results. Okay, so press make query again just to check, but you can see that there's just an empty bracket there in the results. Cool. Let's try to figure out why. Go back to the tab where we were looking at the mesh documentation together. It's your far right tab. Or that one. Perfect. Fetch asset addresses. What parameter does this function take? Fetch a list of addresses containing a specific asset. Oh, we provided an address, so of course we don't get results. Can you find an asset ID somewhere?
Someone that I have in the wallet that I use that I put in the code.
Perfect. Yeah. Any asset ID will do.
Okay, I'm not sure if I have I think I have a PPBL token maybe. Let me
Perfect.
see something. Give me 1 second. Yes, I have an asset. So should I copy the policy ID or the asset name?
The entire asset ID is what we're told, okay?
Oh, okay. Let me go back to. Okay. So should I put it here, right?
Well, you got to put it in VS Code, right? Our
Oh,
goal is for our query to give us some information right there.
right. Uh,
So
okay.
in the query, instead of an address, you see on line 15, we give it an address. We could just replace that address with an asset ID. Okay. Now go back to the mesh documentation. Let's check. Let's learn about asset IDs for a second. Looking at mesh again in the browser.
I'm sorry that I have to stop sharing and sharing
I
again.
get it. No, it's okay. It's
Familiar,
okay.
but I'm gonna see how to make it for next time. Uh,
We're all
so
learning this
the
together.
documentation. All right.
Yeah.
Are you able to see the screen?
Yeah, so what is an asset? Read this right here. Fetch a list of addresses containing a specific asset where it is. What's it? Oh, I'm reading right from your screen. Fetch. Oh, we're trying
What
to
is
use, well, what function are you using in VS Code? You tell me.
right now the fetch asset address?
Let's look at that.
Yes, here.
Okay. Read the instructions. What does it say?
Facilities of address containing a specific asset, where it is concatenation of policy ID and asset.
Correct. So that's what we need. The concatenation. We need a string that has the policy ID and the asset. That's not quite what I see in your VS Code yet, right? So policy ID and asset. We need that for the token that you're curious about. Let's find it.
So I'm missing the policy ID, correct?
And the asset name. Yeah, the string that you gave us is a different thing. And we're not going to focus too much on that right now. But for now, all you need to know is it's not the thing we're looking for.
Okay. So let me see if I can get it and jump back to the VS Code. Okay. Just give me 1 second, please.
Perfect, perfect. And so, yeah, when you hear anybody say asset ID, that's really always what they're going to be talking about. Policy ID, token name as a string. This
Correct.
thing is called an asset fingerprint. Okay, so yeah, there's a policy ID.
The policy ID. Yeah.
Now, if you
Uh,
look up that policy ID or even that asset fingerprint on Cardano scan, you'll
yeah.
also see the name of the token as a hex string. We need that token name to keep going.
You don't see my screen right now, right?
I can see VS Code.
Oh, okay.
Make sure you see how it says mainnet. Yeah, we want to switch to pre-prod. Let's try it there.
Okay. Uh, I have the list of all. Oh, okay. So I had to find my token, right?
Yeah, I think on Cardano Scan you can also search by using that fingerprint that you initially searched for. If you want to try that, go for it.
So okay.
Just search for that. Yeah, that string that starts with the word asset. Try searching for that. Let's see if that works. Can't remember.
Yeah.
Nice, there it is. Okay, and you see how asset name,
Yes. Should I copy?
you only want to copy the hex part, the part that's in parentheses. Yeah. Oh, make sure you get the whole thing. I think you missed the 9 at the end. And we can pull that into the code base. Excellent.
Okay. So I go back to the mesh. No, let me see. To the local host, right?
Well, let's make sure we have this whole string. We're trying to make
Oh,
an asset ID. Now you have the asset name, the token name, but what's supposed to go in front of that?
the policy ID.
Correct. Make sure that string has the whole policy ID and then the whole token name all as one string.
So policy ID first, correct?
Yes, the asset ID is policy ID, then token name.
Okay. I think that is so together now.
Nice.
So
All right, let's see if this works. So if you have now an asset ID there and we look at the local host in your browser, will we see a successful query?
do you see this page?
Looks good. Yeah, let's see what happens when you tap the button. Oh, there's something. Okay, so it's working.
Yeah,
Perfect. Now, what's in this query result? What's it telling you?
I have the address,
Oh,
and I think no, no the
address and quantity. That's what you have.
yes.
Yeah. Okay, this query gives you address and quantity. Is that what you wanted?
I would like to see the image.
Perfect. All right.
Yeah, the first thing that I'm looking for is the policy ID, and the asset is in the address. So
right?
this
Is
works.
this it? Is this it?
Yep.
No, no, it's not. Is there any image data right here? Is there any metadata on your screen?
No, I have only the address and the quantity.
Perfect. Okay, so there's good news and bad news. The good news is the system is working. The bad news is we're not using the right query yet. But
Mhm.
you're learning how to think about this right now. Wait a minute. We just went into the mesh documentation. We tried this function, but it's not the one we needed. So now go back to the mesh documentation. Let's try a different function. Let's find the one we need. Oh, you were right there. You were in the right spot. Mesh documentation in your web browser. That's what we want to look at together.
Okay.
Okay. What do you want to see? Do you want to fetch asset addresses? No, you don't want just an address. You're trying to look at NFT metadata. Which function should we use?
Uh, well, I have just a minute. I providing asset unit, which is
Which is another name
combination
for
of
asset ID.
asset name in hex.
Same thing, right? Concatenation of policy ID and asset name. That's fine. We already got that. But is this the function we want? Fetch asset metadata?
Uh, I think so.
Let's try it, right? If we're wrong, that's fine. But I think it's worth trying fetch asset metadata. I mean, I think with what I know about NFTs, they have something to do with metadata. Let's see what this tells us.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
No.
let's clean up a little bit on line 15. On line 15 for just a second, change
Okay.
the name of that variable. This is not an address, and we don't want to confuse ourselves. So change the word address to asset ID, right? And in Mesh, the word unit is often used for asset ID. They mean the same thing, okay? But
Unit.
yeah, unit or asset ID, they mean the same thing, okay? Unit, fine. And let's replace the word address there with unit, cool. But now we also want to try a different named function. What was it called? There you go. All right, save this. Let's go back and look at your web page again.
Oops.
Ooh, okay. Wait a minute. What do you see here?
The name of the asset and the IPFS.
Okay. This feels like it's going to come in handy, right?
Yeah.
All right. Now what we need to learn how to do is we need to learn how to take this IPFS link right here and make an image appear on the page. Okay, so you're halfway to your goal. You have the information about an image, but we don't want to just show, it's boring if we just look at the IPFS link. We want to see the picture, right?
Yeah.
So that's our last step. We're not going to have time to cover that step today. Okay, I got to go to the next call. But this is a great spot to pick up, and I encourage you, see if you can figure this out. You can search the web for this,
Yeah.
or you can, right, even ask ChatGPT, how do I view an IPFS image in a React project? And see if it can help you with that. Okay. If you can get it, awesome. If not, we'll pick up right here next week.
Great. Thank you,
Progress,
James.
man. Thank you for bravely doing this. I really appreciate you jumping in, and you're moving at exactly the right speed. You're doing everything right. Okay. We're
Oh,
learning.
how I changed the IP key
Delete it from right there. Delete the one we had.
from the code and
Yeah, just delete it from line 9 to remember not to use that one. And then when you're not sharing the screen, go back to your Blockfrost account, and there's an option to create a new API key. Okay.
okay.
Just make a new one, copy that one, keep it private, put it right here, and everything will keep working.
Okay.
Okay? Awesome. Thanks. This is really good, and I'm excited for you to be teaching other folks someday other people are going to have these same questions, and you're getting that firsthand experience right now. Nice work.
All right. Thank you, James. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Everybody, catch you sooner or later. Have a good one.